So there's a new AI tool that has just completely blown up online. It's called OpenClaw. It is powerful, it's open source, and honestly, it has sparked a massive debate. It's pitting this incredible excitement about innovation against some really, really serious security fears. So let's break it all down. What is OpenClaw? Why is it so divisive? And what does it mean for the future of AI? And when I say blown up, I'm not kidding. Just look at this number, over 145,000 stars on GitHub. Now, for those of you who don't live on GitHub, that's insane. That's not just popular, it's a signal flare to the entire tech world. This shows you that developers everywhere are unbelievably excited about this kind of tech. This isn't just some niche tool, it's become a global phenomenon, practically overnight. So where did this thing even come from? Well, it all started back in late 2025. It was just a side project by a developer named Peter Steinberger, and he called it ClaudeBot. You might have also heard it called Moltbot for a hot minute. That was a quick name change because of a trademark issue. But now we know it is OpenClaw. All these rebrands happened right as it was going viral in early 2026, which, just added a little extra chaos to its incredible rise. All right, here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to get a really clear idea of what OpenClaw is. Then we'll peek under the hood and see how these AI agents actually work. We'll weigh the good against the bad, and then we're going to dive deep into that big security debate that has everybody talking. And hey, if you're feeling adventurous, we'll cover how you can play with it safely. By the end, you'll have a good idea if this tool is right for you. So, let's start at the very beginning. How did this go from just a weekend project to something everyone is talking about? What is OpenClaw, really? At its heart, OpenClaw is basically a kit for building your own AI personal assistant. Now, the two keywords here are autonomous and runs on your own device. This is a huge deal, right? This isn't some cloud service like ChatGPT. You install it on your own machine, you control it, and your data stays with you. It's designed to be an AI that does things, not just one that talks to you. And what kind of stuff can it do? Well, just about anything you can hook it up to. It can organize your digital life. We're talking scheduling meetings, sorting through your emails, firing off messages for you on WhatsApp or Telegram. It can go out and research things on the web, pull in data, and even run really complicated multi-step tasks. But the real magic is that word autonomous. It can work 24/7 in the background, making decisions and taking actions without you having to constantly give it instructions. Now, that term AI agent can sound a little intimidating, but the basic idea is actually pretty straightforward. We're going to break down how it works with a really simple analogy. I want you to think of OpenClaw not as a single blob of code, but as a super efficient professional kitchen. A place where everyone has a job, everything has its place, and there's a clear process to turn a simple order into a delicious, complex meal. This kitchen idea is the key to understanding how all the pieces fit together. Okay, let's map this out. The large language model, or LLM, that's your head chef. It's the brains of the whole operation, the one making the creative decisions. The workflow, that's the recipe, the step-by-step instructions. The tools are all the ingredients and appliances, things like being able to send an email or search Google. And OpenClaw itself, it's the kitchen manager. It's the one making sure the chef has the right recipe, the right ingredients, and that every single step happens in the right order. Okay, let's put this kitchen to work. Let's say you give it a task. Analyze our sales data and send me a summary email. First, the request comes in. The LLM, our chef, looks at the order and plans its attack. It decides it needs the SQL tool, so that tool is executed and it grabs the data. Then the chef takes that raw data, analyzes it, and writes up a nice summary. Finally, OpenClaw, the kitchen manager, tells the agent to grab the email tool and send it off. And here's one of the coolest parts. Every single one of those steps is logged, so you can go back and see exactly what it did. Now, like any technology that's this powerful, OpenClaw comes with some pretty big trade-offs. It's definitely not magic, and it's so important to understand both sides of the coin before you even think about jumping in. On the one hand, the strengths are incredible. It's open source and free, so anyone can use it, check the code, and change it. You control your own data on your own hardware, which is a massive win for privacy. And because everything is logged, you have high observability. You can see exactly what it's doing. But, and this is a huge but, those very strengths create some serious weaknesses. All that power and flexibility introduces major security risks. It absolutely requires technical skill to set up right, and if you don't know what you're doing, it is super easy to misconfigure and leave the door wide open for some big problems. And that leads us right to the heart of the whole controversy. This is the big, messy security debate that's been raging since OpenClaw went viral. Why is a tool that has so much promise also being called, by some very smart people, a dumpster fire? a big piece of this whole firestorm was a wild experiment called Moltbook. It was basically a social network where only AI agents, most of them powered by OpenClaw, could post and interact. Humans could only watch. And while some of it was fascinating, it got weird fast. It quickly became a breeding ground for spam, scams, and even agents trying to hack each other with malicious prompts. It was a real-world, slightly terrifying demo of what can happen when these things are let loose. This kind of behavior led to some, let's just say, very strong warnings from really respected people in the AI world. Andrej Karpathy, who used to be a top researcher at OpenAI, gave this stark warning, calling it a dumpster fire and recommending people not run it on their personal computers. I mean, when someone with his background says something that blunt, you have to pay attention. So what are the actual dangers here? Well, first up, you've got malicious skills or plugins. Since anyone can make them, a bad one could easily be designed to steal your data. Then there's something called prompt injection. Think of it like a Jedi mind trick for an AI. An attacker could trick your agent into ignoring your orders and doing what they want instead. If you accidentally expose your setup online, it can also lead to your data and API keys getting stolen. And in the absolute worst-case scenario, all this could lead to remote code execution, which is, just as terrifying as it sounds. It means an attacker could run their own software on your computer. Okay, hearing all that might make you want to just run for the hills. But hold on, it is possible to use OpenClaw safely. The key thing to remember is you have to be disciplined. You have to follow a strict set of security rules. This is absolutely not a tool you can afford to be careless with. So that's the big question, right? What are those rules? How can you actually tap into the power of this technology without opening yourself up to all those scary risks we just talked about? Here it is. This is the absolute non-negotiable security checklist. First, isolate it. Always run it in a sandboxed container, like Docker. That way, if something goes wrong, it's trapped and can't mess with your main computer. Second, hide it. Never, ever, ever expose it directly to the public internet. If you need to access it from somewhere else, use a secure VPN. Third, lock it down. Keep your API keys in secure files with super strict permissions. And finally, update it. This project is moving fast, and those updates often have critical security fixes. All right, we've covered what it is, how it works, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So now we get to the final, most personal question. Should you actually use it? Let's break it down. OpenClaw might be a great fit for you if you're a developer or maybe a technical hobbyist who really understands the security side of things and is excited to experiment. On the flip side, you should be really, really cautious if you're a non-technical user, if you're going to be dealing with sensitive work or personal data, or if you're just looking for a simple set-it-and-forget-it solution. This is not that. Let's be super clear about the skills you need to have. You should be comfortable working in the command line terminal. You need to know what Docker is and how it works. And you're going to be editing configuration files by hand. If you're on Windows, you'll need to use WSL2. Now, if all of those terms sound like a foreign language, that's totally okay. It just means that OpenClaw in its current state probably isn't the right tool for you just yet. Now, if you do meet the criteria and you are ready to dive in, these are the best places to get started. The official website has all the documentation. You can see every line of code on GitHub, and communities like Reddit's r/self-hosted have some excellent security-first guides from people who are already running this stuff. So look, OpenClaw is a pretty big deal. It signals that the era of powerful, autonomous AI agents that we can run ourselves, well, it's not coming, it's here. The genie is officially out of the bottle. And that leaves us with a really critical question for our future. The debate is no longer if we will use these tools, but how we will learn to build, manage, and most importantly, secure them responsibly.